Yo, what's up? It's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur. And on this channel, what we do is we teach real estate investors and entrepreneurs how to create time and freedom through proven real estate investment strategy. So look, welcome to another Starting From Scratch, episode number 5, where I'm showing my nephew Sadiq how to build a successful real estate investment business from scratch. So if you've been following what Sadiq has been doing, in the first 4 episodes, you'll notice that he's brand new to real estate, and I want to show him how to build a $1 million per year real estate investment business. So we've made some small changes since our last episode. Sadiq decided to bring on some team members. Now, these are not team members that are going to be working for him. He decided to partner with some of his friends in order to lighten a load for himself and to be able to scale a lot quicker. So maybe you're in a position right now where you're looking to grow your real estate investing business or start building a team. Is it the right time for you to do it? That's something that you have to ask yourself. Either way, watch this video and I'm going to show you how I would assign roles to the team players in order to have an effective real estate investment business. Let's jump into this.
All right, y'all. So today I want to talk about team building, right? So obviously you have a team. So y'all decided that you're going to work together in order to make money together. So we kind of got to start, not necessarily from scratch, but what I want to do is assign everybody with a position, because when you have multiple team players and if everybody play their part and do what they have to do, it could benefit the entire team. So one thing that you want to remember is you can't do everything on your own, right? So you could build a $1 million business by yourself. It's going to be hard. So it's better to have team players, everybody play their part, and you can multiply how much money you can really make in a short period of time, right? So I'm not sure what y'all worked out as far as splits and stuff like that. I know I've been talking to Sadiq over the last, month and a half or so, getting him started. But he talked to me about bringing on team players, and I'm not sure what y'all negotiated. That's something we could talk about offline. But really what we want to do today is just assign positions, right? So if everybody just focus on what they have to do and they give it 100%, then you're really going to be able to take your business to another level. You know what I mean? Especially when you got a lot of people involved. So with me, when I started, I didn't have a team. So it took me more time to be able to build up what I was able to build up. And then when I started adding team players, that's when my business just skyrocketed. So if y'all starting off this way, it's going to help tremendously in a relatively short period of time. So as long as everybody, a couple of things you want to keep in mind when it comes to having a team. Communication is the key, right? Just like with any relationship, if you talk, if you got an issue, if you got any type of situation, you need to talk about it, right? Talk. Communication is the key. Everybody has to be on the same page, right? Also know what your numbers are up front. So if you're going to split this, what is it? 3 of y'all, you're going to split this 33% each way. That's 33 and a third equals 100, right? So 33 and a third each way, y'all should know that up front, right? So if you get a $10,000 check and everybody getting $3,300 out of it, y'all should know that up front. So then there's no confusion, right? So again, that comes with communication. That's clarity, right? And then everybody needs to put the same amount of effort into each position. So if you got a certain position, let's say somebody needs to make phone calls, or somebody needs to find leads, or somebody needs to call buyers, y'all need to have that same amount of effort, same amount of effort going out as the same amount of effort that's coming in. You know what I mean? So when you're putting forth the effort going out and then the payments is coming in, and then there's arguing going on because this person didn't do what they were supposed to do and they still expect the money out of it. That's why you got to communicate this up front. You know what I'm saying? So if you work hard and you can build a real business, and if you communicate, everything will run smoothly, right? and y'all can make millions of dollars together. Y'all all young, right? I think early 20s. I'm assuming y'all in your early 20s as well.
Yeah.
Y'all could be good by the time you're 25. You know what I mean? Before that. But you just got to put in that work. So just like I told Zadig, your goals are not going to be the same as his, but know what you're working for. You know what I'm saying? Have a clear path, understand what you want. And if somebody's not living up to their end of the bargain, talk, communicate, let them know. Prevent arguments and stuff like that, because that happens in relationships as well. But the best relationships, the longest lasting relationships, last because of communication. All right. So I guess I really want to dig into some questions in regards to what y'all are good at. And if y'all had a chance to talk about, what positions y'all want to play at this point. But let's start with Ishmael. So what are you good at, man?
I mean, I would say like customer service pretty much, because that's all I was doing really in my last recent job. I did customer service for Ohio for unemployment. So I made a lot of phone calls all day. That's all I was doing. So I say I'm pretty good at that.
Okay, don't worry about the noise in the background, man. We all at home. We all got families, and everybody who's watching this is gonna they totally understand. So customer service, man. So that's telling me I kind of got an idea of where to place you at this point. And what about Esau and Raven?
I'm really good at customer service too. Anything I put my mind to, I know I can do. But yeah, I'm really good at. I'm like a people person, so I did nursing for a couple of years, and I did customer service since I started working. So yeah, anything I feel like any job you need me to do, I'll be able to do.
Okay, that sounds good. And what about you, Esau?
For me, I feel like more marketing. I'm really good at that. I did go to college for 1 year. I did mostly marketing, and I wanted to do marketing management as well. I took a couple of classes on entrepreneurship. Another thing I'm good at is mostly financing. I did work at a bank for about a year. So I'm really good with money, and I kind of know how all that system kind of works out. Got that background knowledge as well. Perfect.
And I kind of know what Zadik is good at, but you want to tell us, Zadik?
Everything.
Here we go.
Yeah, now I'm good at customer service. I'm also a people's person. I can also do a lot of handiwork.
Okay.
Get dirty with my hands.
All right. So based off of what I'm hearing, here's what I would do if I was y'all. I'm not going to make this decision because this is y'all business. I'm going to tell you what positions y'all should consider playing. And then I'm going to give you some steps to get your business set up. All right. So Ishmael, you mentioned customer service. And you was doing that for you did that, for money before, right?
Yeah.
You worked for a company, you had customer support going on.
Yeah.
I think what you need to focus on is generating leads through cold calling, or if y'all decide to invest some money into your business, which we could talk about in a little bit. If you decide to invest some money into your business, I think you honestly need to focus on speaking to the incoming leads, the motivated sellers that call you. All right. And that's all scripted, right? You can, so you need to spend some time learning that script, learning the questions, knowing in and out. If you go back to some of the videos that I did with Zadik, we did about four or five videos already.
Yeah.
Go back and watch those videos again.
Okay.
Really get familiar with that script. I sent it to Zadik already.
I sent it to them.
All right, perfect. So make sure everybody always has access to the information. I'm also give y'all access to my courses. All right, I'm gonna do that for y'all, so that y'all can get familiar with investing in general. So you understand the lingo, you understand what I'm talking about. My courses are step by step, so I'm gonna give y'all access to that. But also watch the YouTube videos, go through the playlist. You should be feeding your brain with your craft all the time, right? I've been in the business for 21 years. I'm still learning, right? I'm still talking to different people. I'm still figuring different things out. So learning never stops. You always want to feed your brain with more information. The more information you have, the better you'll be at taking action, right? And the less nervous you'll be because you're more prepared when it's time to perform, right? So, 100%. First of all of y'all should know that the property information sheet. Y'all all should know the scripts. Y'all should all know each other's position. But as far as the focus part, I'm seeing Ishmael as the person who's going to handle the incoming calls or the outgoing calls, right? And that's going to take some work, right? You might be on the phone for 3-4 hours a day, but like I was telling Zadik a few weeks ago, when you make these calls, you really want to focus on not getting the lead. You want to focus on the no's, not the yeses. There's a book I just ordered. Did you ever order that book, Zadik?
Not yet. I do have the name of it if you need it.
Yeah, I got it in my notes because I've been listening to it myself. It's called help me out with the name, man.
I have it in my notes.
Hold on, I got it in my library. It's called Go for No. So there's a book called Go for No. If you go to Audible, I can send y'all a link to the Audible. It's fine. And y'all can get a free trial with Audible. Just download the book. It's free, right? I'm gonna put a link in the description box for everybody watching this YouTube video as well, for the free book. It's to, go to Audible and then you'll be able to order it. If you don't have an Audible account, it's free for the first book. If you have an Audible account, go ahead and download this book or wait till your next credit. But it's called Go for No, right? And the idea behind it is when you make a sales call, and I was guilty of this growing up as well. When you make a sales call, you're always looking for the person that's going to say yes, right? But really, you want to go for the no. The more no's you could get, the more yeses you'll eventually get. Does that make sense? So if I'm calling and my goal is to get 50 no's, if I'm making phone calls and I'm at 48 no's and then I get a yes, I got to start all over and go for another 50. The goal is to get 50 or 20 or 10 or whatever, whatever number you set for yourself for that day. But that's going to shift your thinking into getting the no's and more, and the yeses are just going to come. So it's going to basically trick your brain into doing more calls. The more calls you make, what do you think is going to happen at the end of the day?
A lot of yeses.
A lot of yeses, right? The more calls you make, the more deals you get, the more money you make, period. So it takes work. You know what I mean? You can't expect to make $1 million for free. You got to work for it. And $1 million is not a lot of money, so make a whole lot of millions. That should be on your brain. You know what I mean? You want to make 10 million, have 100 million on your mind. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to study that, man. All of y'all should go, get that book. I'll send it to you, Zadik. You can send it out to everybody else.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, let me do that real quick. And then in addition to that, for Raven, so you mentioned something. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get right back to you, Raven, because the next step is really marketing. And that's where I want Esau. You mentioned that you went to college for marketing and stuff like that. So you need to focus on putting marketing plans together for the team. That's going to be you, right? You got the experience, the expertise. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. You don't really have to think. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. But the good thing is you have the experience in marketing, right? Now we're just going to develop the muscle, right? So if you got the weights already, let's lift these weights and develop that muscle so that you can be the best marketer out there. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. All right. So I think that needs to be your position. So we got Ishmael taking the phone calls, but we got Esau who's going to generate the leads. Right. So you see where we're going with this? Mm-hmm. It's almost like an assembly line, right? When you build cars, it was Henry Ford. He created the assembly line for cars, right? Everybody, you had one guy who put the screw on, one guy who tightened the screw, one guy, you know what I mean? So they all had a position, but it all equaled up to this car that somebody's going to drive. So we're going to do the same thing, except your car is going to be the business, right? So everybody's going to play a part. So we got Esau on the marketing, and we got Ishmael on the incoming leads. Now back to Raven. So you mentioned that you was a people's person. Everything that you said to me, I'm listening. I think that you need to, especially being a female, I think that you should focus on working with buyers. And the reason for that is because you could be good on the phones as well, because people put their guards down with females and they're really effective at it. So we're going to put you in that position, right? When you show the houses, and always go to a house, don't ever go to a house by yourself. Bring one of them with you. Even if they're waiting in the car, bring one of them with you. That's just for protection purposes. But so when you focus on being a people's person, like you said, customer service, all of that kind of wraps in to working with the buyers, right? So you focus on selling the houses. People will be more inclined to working with you than they would with Zadig because he's a bonehead. You know what I mean? So we got those three positions. So that's kind of covering. We got the marketing. So that's the incoming leads. We got Ishmael making the phone calls. And then we got Raven, who's going to handle, the buyers. So Zadig, what I want you to focus on is the contracting part of the business. All right. So if and this is based on a wholesaling type of arrangement, right? So, I'm not sure if y'all familiar with wholesaling or not. Go to my channel, my playlist, and watch the wholesaling playlist. But when you drive the leads in Esau, right? Your focus is driving the leads. We're going to create a schedule for that, and you're going to just make sure the marketing is taking place. That's your job. Then Ishmael, your job is probably going to be the hardest. I'm not going to lie to you. So Zadig is probably going to have to assist you in that part. You know what I mean? Because we'll talk about that in just a moment. But with Ishmael, when the leads start coming in and you got to bang out these phone calls, if y'all just make 150 phone calls together every day, y'all going to get deals, man. It's gonna be pouring in. So here's the deal, though. If all four of y'all make these calls together, just imagine you got 4 people making 150 calls a day. That's 600 calls. That's a lot of phone calls. You think you're gonna come up with something? Right. It's a numbers game, right? But you might have to do that in the beginning until you get things working and you build up some money, and then you could give the position over to Esau. He handles the money, who takes and handle the marketing, make sure the marketing goes out. And Ishmael and Zadig, y'all make the phone calls back to the sellers. And then once y'all get the deals and you focus on contracting the deal, Zadig. So when Ishmael gets a deal, he got a hot lead on the phone, you pass it on to Zadig and he'll handle closing the deal. Right. I'm not sure if that's going to be your best position yet, but we need to put somebody there right now. Right. So you close the deal, you get the contract. And once you get the contract, you pass it on to Raven, and Raven will find the buyers and then she'll assign the contracts. You guys close the deals. You facilitate the closing, Raven, because that's your end of that's your part of the, of the team right there. And then from there, when you close the deal, y'all split the money however y'all decided to split it. So that's just a wholesale arrangement, right? So again, let me just repeat this one more time. We got the marketing, we got incoming leads, who's gonna pre-screen the leads. Another thing you want to keep in mind, you got what's called suspects and you have prospects, right? So a suspect is somebody who's calling in off of the marketing. Right. So that's going to be when they come to you, Ishmael, you're going to be handling suspects and turning them into prospects. The prospects turn into leads or deals. And that's when you pass it off to Zadig. He handles facilitating, the deal, getting, the contracts and everything ready. And then you pass it on to Raven. Raven handles finding the buyers for those deals, and then closing the deals. Right. So that's a simple way of using a team to wholesale a lot of real estate. And just remember, it's for y'all. So it's a numbers game. In the beginning, I really want y'all to be making these phone calls together. And I would rather y'all do it all in the same room. Why do you think I want y'all to do it in the same room? Why do y'all think?
Make sure it's getting done.
You can make sure it's getting done, but what else? There's a big reason why you want to do it together.
If we need help.
If you need help, that's another one, but there's an even bigger reason.
Just so that we're all together, so we're all learning it together.
So you gave me two good reasons, but there's an even bigger reason than that. What do y'all think?
Because didn't you say, like, when we call them and stuff like that, we pass it to the next person, so we're all right there.
Oh, so we all near each other to pass.
No, that's not the reason. I'm gonna give y'all one more try. What y'all think it is? When you in a group, when you by yourself, think about when you by yourself versus being in a group, and think about how you feel. When you by yourself,
you can practice our nerves when talking to people.
You could do that. That's not the reason though. You want me to tell you?
So can I get a try at it first?
Go ahead.
So is it because not go ahead.
All right. You basically gonna feed off of each other's energy. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. If Ishmael is making calls by himself, it's gonna get frustrating. Right? I know this from experience. Yeah. Versus being like me and my wife, so I'm in my house right now. We have an office. I got two desks in my office. One is right there. And I'm sitting at one, right? When she's here and I'm here, if I was making phone calls on the phone with her, if she's making calls and I'm making calls, I'm feeding off of her energy. You're motivating each other to do more. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Especially when you got a common goal. So not only should you have a separate goal for yourself and know what you want, but you should have a common goal as well. So what's the common goal for the group? And that's something I don't want y'all to answer now, but I want y'all to think about together. Have a common goal for the group. Have a business goal. Write it on the wall. Everybody should have the same goal, right? Because y'all are a unit at this point. If your goal is to make $10 million in the next 2 years, what you can do, make that a goal. If you feel like you could do, more, or if you feel like you want to do less, I'm not telling y'all what to do. If y'all want to drive the same car, you know what I mean? Make a goal for yourself and motivate each other to get there. The best way to motivate is to be in the same room. Why do you think they have call centers? Why do you think they have, because they're feeding off of each other's energy, and it's going to motivate you to do more. When I used to work down on Wall Street, I worked for this spot trading currency firm, and we all called in the same room. Every time somebody got a new lead, every time somebody got a new sale, every time somebody made some money, they posted it right on a whiteboard. And guess what that did? That motivated me and everybody else in the room. This person just made 10 grand. I want to beat that 10 grand. I want to get to 12. But collectively as a company, the company is just making more money. You understand? So you're just feeding off of each other's energy. That's what you're doing. And, that's probably the biggest reason why you really want to be in the same room working together. I know, with the COVID stuff going around, I'm sure y'all all together anyway. So just do your thing. You know what I mean? Be smart about it. But, that's really what I wanted to talk about. I don't want to feed y'all with too much today. Just think about the positions, and I kind of told you what positions, but make sure that this is really what you want to do. So y'all discuss that amongst each other. And just before we go, because I didn't explain this in the beginning, let me explain the general idea of wholesaling, and then I'm going to give you some other ideas of what you could do with your company as well. And then when y'all get together, y'all should have a conference call and think about what y'all really want to do together. So wholesaling is basically marketing for leads, right? Getting the leads at a discount So you basically marketing for somebody that's motivated to sell a house. So this is the house, right? This is the house. And how much does this iPhone cost? About $1,000, maybe $1,100. My goal is to get this for $600, right? So if this is a house, I'm trying to get this house for 40 to 50 cents on a dollar. So I'm trying to pay out of $1,000. I'm trying to pay $400 to $600 for this thing, and then sell it to somebody else for maybe $700 to $800 or full price. You understand? And then I keep the profit in between. That's all you're doing with a house. That's the difference. You're not using a phone, you're using a house. So the numbers are so on $100,000 house, I'm looking for distress. Number one, what causes distress? You got people that have financial problems, and you got houses that need a lot of work, right? So we're looking for distress, right? My goal is to get that house as cheap as possible, right? So 40, 50, $100,000 house I should get for 30 to 40 grand, right? 50 grand sometimes. Or I can sell it for 60 to 70 and make a $10,000 to $20,000 profit. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sell it for market value, but I sold it just enough to make a profit. And then whoever buys it from me can go ahead and make a profit. So you want to leave enough meat on the bone for the next person too. Unless
you sell it at market value?
You could, especially right now you could, but I just wouldn't recommend it. It's going to be harder to sell. Houses that need a lot of work going to be harder to sell. So the whole point is you could sell it at market value to an end buyer, but to another investor, I wouldn't do that, because the goal is to build relationships, make money while you build relationships with other people who can continue to buy off of you. And it'd be easier for you to sell those houses as you move on. Because if you get 4 or 5 of those buyers, anything you find, they're going to buy it off of you. And you're going to make a quick $10,000. So I'd rather make a quick 10, they call it a slow nickel or a fast dime. Now I'd rather make the slow nickel. I'd rather make the fast dime than the slow nickel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just be mindful of that. So that's wholesaling real estate. You're basically buying a house at a discount and selling it for a little bit more and making a profit in between. That's it. Now, another thing, I'm not sure, however, you can use your credit to buy real estate, right? That's a whole nother play. Based off of y'all age and experience, I'm going to recommend you start with wholesaling to get familiar with the marketing and how to get leads and get paid from it. And then once you start getting some money, generate your own money and all of that stuff, then you start getting, I started off as a rehabber, right? I went from rehabbing in Brooklyn to rehabbing in Reading, Pennsylvania. And I bought a couple of 100 houses in Reading, Pennsylvania, right? I was 21, 22, 23 years old. But I started off as a rehabber. I didn't start wholesaling until after, so I did it backwards. So my recommendation is start off wholesaling, because you at that point, you know how to drive, you know how to market, you know how to find the deals. And even if you get into rehab and after that, you still know how to find the deals. You understand? So rehabbing is going to involve some money. You know what I mean? And even buy and hold is going to involve some money. So y'all going to have to, I don't know all your situations just yet. We'll continue this conversation on the next one, but the whole point is you're going to have to figure out what your strengths are, what you could bring to the table as a team, where y'all want to start, and then I can just help y'all put it all together. I kind of told you what positions you could play. Y'all young, so I'm not expecting y'all to have a whole lot of money unless you grew up rich. I didn't grow up rich. You know what I mean? I grew up in the projects. I had to make my money. You know what I mean? But if I could do it, y'all can do it. There's nothing different between me and you. The only difference is time. That's it. I got more experience in time. So in 20 years, you should be further than where I am, because I didn't even have somebody show me how to do this. I figured it out on my own. You know what I'm saying? So and I did it by myself. So as a team, y'all should be able to do that a lot quicker. So just consider what you're doing. You know what I mean? Consider, y'all need to talk it out. you know, the first thing, you're not going to be able to talk it out until you're familiar with what you're doing. So first thing I want all y'all to do is just understand real estate investing in general. So go through my YouTube playlist. You know, you got access to my courses, Adi. Just send them access to my courses, right? I'm gonna send you the Audible link so you can feed your brain. But get familiar with what y'all want to do. I'm gonna recommend wholesaling first. Okay, so get familiar with wholesaling, and then figure out what you want. I even got a video on YouTube. It's called hold on, let me see if I can find it for y'all. So it's this video right here. It's called 7-Figure Wholesaling Business. So if you go to YouTube, look for this thumbnail right here. Can y'all see it?
Yeah.
And the title is Wholesaling Team Structure on a 7-Figure Business or something like that. Right. Watch this video because it basically break down what I just broke down for y'all as far as team positions and stuff like that. This is how to build a 7-figure business. But my point in bringing this up is I want you to educate yourself, constantly educate yourself on this. But learn wholesaling, right? And then we'll talk about other stuff later on. I'm gonna guide y'all to $1 million. All right, I'm guide y'all to a 7-figure business. All right, so just learn the wholesaling part. Think about your positions. On the next call, we're gonna start executing. All right. And just be ready, man, because there's nothing to talk about at that point. I like to the way I like to coach it. I like to teach while you do. So, because to me, experience is the best teacher, right? So you learn as you do. That's how I learned how to do this. I didn't have a book, so I had to figure it out. I went out in the streets and I did what I did. I knocked on doors. I asked people. I built relationships, and I learned and I made mistakes. My job for y'all is to minimize your mistakes, but you're not going to be able to make mistakes if you're not doing. So you got to do. All right. And the more you do, guess what? It gets easier. It's not as hard as people think it is, because I think people overthink what real estate investing is or what building a business is in general. And that's what holds people back from ever getting started. So don't overthink it. Don't even think. Let me think for you. All right, just do. And I'm going to minimize your mistakes. So mistakes is not even going to be a problem. All right. Will it be perfect? No, it's not going to be perfect, but you'll be fine. All right. So we got a team now. Everybody understands their part. Let's all get familiar with wholesaling. Let's all think about our positions, and let's talk in a week, and then we'll solidify that up, and then we'll start taking some action. All right.
All right, so there you guys have it. How to build a $1 million real estate investing team effectively, and how to assign the roles to be able to do it. Now, that's not to say that if you're brand new, you have to start building a team right away. That's not the case. You want to build your team organically. Let it happen over time. Fill the roles as needed. So what do I mean by that? Basically, if you're doing all the marketing, you're wearing all the hats in your business right now, and let's say you needed a cold caller, fill that role right now, right? Let's say that you're in a position where you can bring on a team member that's going to handle dispositions, fill that role as needed. But the whole point is, don't stress yourself out about building a real estate investment team just yet. You can build a $500,000 to $1 million per year business by yourself, but it's much easier if you want to take it to another level, multiple millions, when you have a team. So fill the roles as needed. Take the pointers that you learned from this video, and more important than all of that, start taking action in order to get from where you are to where you want to go. Go ahead, like this video, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell. Let me know how you're liking this starting from scratch series as well. And I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. Peace.